Hey guys, it's Randy Powell, that real estate guy. It's a new year and I know some of you are planning to make your first home purchase this year. I'd first like to commend you for making that decision, but in this video I'd like to highlight the 5 common mistakes made by first-time homebuyers when doing so. The first mistake that most of you guys make is actually not going out and getting that pre-approval. So before you step foot into any home, you should be able to know how much you can afford. So go out, see your mortgage specialist, and let them tell you. So getting your pre-approval is a great way to be prepared. It's like going shopping with a credit card and you don't know the limit. Doesn't make any sense. And I find a lot of people that make this mistake end up struggling to get financing at the end. They end up actually paying a lot higher rates than people who have their pre-approval in the first place. And some people think, oh, they have, $20, $30, $40,000 saved up and they can just walk into a bank and get pre-approved. It doesn't work like that. And actually, a pre-approval is actually not a guarantee that you'll get a mortgage, because the bank actually looks into a lot of things. Look into your NOAs, your notice of assessments, they look into your bank statements, they want to see your income, and they want to see how much debt you have. So before you think you can just go shopping for a house, please go out, get your pre-approval, and then you can start looking. The second most common mistake I see a lot of people making is they're making an emotional decision. Yeah, I know that you've been planning this for a really long time, and you probably already have the colors of your walls picked out. You probably already know where you want your TV and where you want to put that big couch in front of it. But just remember that this is probably going to be one of the biggest purchases you'll make in your life, and there's a lot of other important factors that should be taken into account. First, you got to be able to think about your finances. Are you going to be able to afford this on a monthly basis? Is the location right? Is it close to family? Is it close to your work? Is it close to places like the gym? Is there schools in the area? Is the grocery store close by? I can't tell how many people I've seen so anxious to get their first keys and just to say that they own their first home that they'll just run and hurry up to make an emotional decision. So what I suggest is that you make a list of all the criteria of what you're looking for into a home. And that way when you visit these properties, you'll have a list, you have a checklist of everything, and whichever one meets most of the things on your list is probably going to be the home that's more suited to you. That way you're taking the emotions out of it and making a more practical decision. Another thing that I suggest is actually visiting the home more than once, because there's going to be things that you missed the first time that you're probably going to notice the second time. Okay, great. So you've seen the entire house and you love it. All your criteria are pretty much met and you're ready to make that offer. Which leads me to the third mistake I see a lot of people making, and that's removing your conditions. Especially in this market where homes are selling so fast and there are multiple biddings, and now you want to remove your conditions to make your offer coming as strong as possible. But you gotta remember, conditions are there to protect you as the buyer. It's supposed to protect you from making a bad decision and make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And the 2 popular ones are your financing clause and your home inspection clause. A lot of people want to remove this condition because once again they think they're guaranteed to get a mortgage, or that they have a strong profile, they know their credit score is strong, and they make a lot of money, and I walk into a bank and I'm gonna get approved. So you're like, you know what, forget the financing clause. So what if you don't get approved? You're gonna end up struggling last minute to get a mortgage. You're going to end up with some B lender who's going to charge you interest rates, and you're probably not even going to be able to afford your monthly payment. Never mind on closing date not being able to close. You could potentially lose your deposit. That could be your $10,000, $20,000 or $30,000. So the second condition I see a lot of people want to remove is their home inspection clause. Removing your home inspection clause is a whole nother beast, especially when it comes to resale homes. It's like buying a used car. I hope you wouldn't buy a car without taking it to your mechanic for him to look at it first. And it's the exact same thing with buying a home. The home inspector is here to show you things that you cannot see. Leaks in the roof, cracks in the foundation, things like mold, asbestos, the list goes on. You'll end up spending more money with more stress and heartache fixing these problems than it would for you to have a home inspector coming in the first place and telling you to walk away from a property that you thought you loved. So everything looks good. But the fourth common mistake that a lot of first-time home buyers make is actually not using your own real estate agent. Yeah, I know you see a sign or you see an open house and you want to go take a look at the property, and you think, hey, we can just not use an agent and use a agent who's selling the house, and maybe we can you can get a deal, maybe save some money. But you have to remember, in about 99.9% of all real estate transactions, it's actually the person selling the house that pays the commission to both agents. So it's in your best interest to get your own agent, especially because you're going to have a second pair of eyes to show you the pros and the cons about every property that you're going to see. And at the end of the day, you're going to have someone that's working for you and no one else. So the fifth common mistake made by a lot of first-time home buyers is underestimating your closing costs. Yeah, you probably spent a lot of time getting rid of those credit cards, paid off your student debt. The bank told you that you're going to need 15 to 20%, and you probably also had 2 to 3 months worth of mortgage payments because they told you to get that just so you know that you're in the clear. But a lot of people forget the costs associated with closing a house, and that can range anything from your lawyer fees, property taxes for your portion of the year. So if you move in July, you're going to be responsible for July until December's worth of property taxes, and sometimes you're going to have to pay that up front. And a lot of the utility companies nowadays actually want you to pay a deposit before you can open an account. And those things you got to pay up front. If maybe you want professional movers, the list can go on. Typically nowadays, the average closing costs anywhere from $5,000 up to upwards of $15,000. So those things you're going to have to keep in mind. So those are the 5 common mistakes that I find a lot of first-time home buyers make. So I hope this video was helpful. And once again, it's Randy Powell, that real estate guy. Thank you for watching. See you next time.